a 4-year-old and a child that who was living with you, you know that was against the rules, and you knew that was not against the rules when you have your child to come live with you. Yes. And you do understand that your child was not going to be living with you, sir, because if the judge find out that it is, what state are you from? Greenville, Wisconsin. Greenville, Wisconsin. I see. Then you go back to the town hall and go back to the Supreme Court with the 8 other judges. They say this protected order that she filed against my child because she would have been neglect of your child because when you're suing her because she gave you the money for your child. It's like my child is not neglect. I'm like because you say that she filed a child abuse because you went to call the Child Protective Services on Woodlands, correct? So what made you call the Child Protective Services, sir? Your Honor, she called the Child Protective Services on me because based upon on a daily basis. What kind of daily basis was it? She filed a child neglect against me because the child. How old was that child, sir? It was 4 and 8. Okay, so you have a 4-year-old and an 8-year-old because the child was not living with you, right? Right. Okay, when the child was living with you, and then the child was living with their mother, because they were living with the child when the child was in his birth because they were living with their mother. Is that right? That's correct, Your Honor. So you were living with your former children because your brother was supporting you. Yes. And your brother came to you to live into the house that you contribute to the household. What do? I am working at Burger Nights. From whom? I'm working from, how many hours do you work? From 5 a.m. to 9 p.m., Your Honor. So from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m., you were working at the Burger Night. Yes. How much did you get paid? $750. Okay. So you got paid $750 because your brother owed you the money that you owe him because due to the fact your brother owed you the money. Do you understand? I do. Okay. So your brother owed you the money towards a payment for the car. What kind of car would you get him? I gave him a 2006 Chrysler Champion. And how much did you get it for? $6,500. So you got it out for $6,500 that you gave to your brother because your brother needed a car to have the transmission when the car is broken, when the battery's out, when his gas went out, because the car was not running. Right. Okay. So you had no knowledge that you took the car that your brother was living with in your house because you say that you gave him the car. Yes, Your Honor. Okay. Now, this case has to do with the lawsuit. The defendant took your car. Yes, Your Honor. And you gave him a $6,500 negotiating price because did you tell your sister that you gave her the $6,500 to negotiate the price? Yes, Your Honor. When was that? That was on February the 11th was when I get the car back. Okay, so you got the car back, and then you went to get the car back from your sister. Yes. And your sister, according to you, because you asked your sister, one of your siblings, to go get the car from the parking lot. Yes. And you want your sister to give you your car back for $6,500 that was in the storage. That's correct. Okay, so your sister got the car out of the impound. Who put it in his storage? I did, Your Honor. And how much is every month? I paid 60% of the storage unit. It was $7,500. So it's between $6,500 to $7,500 that you pay for your storage unit. You didn't pay extra months. Right. And he didn't pay. Right. Okay. So my understanding is you pay for the storage. Yes. Who paid for the storage every month? I did, Your Honor. Well, just a second. If you didn't pay for the storage, sir, why did you tell the acquaintance say you wanted to pay for the storage? Did you want to pay the car in storage? And say, well, my car was in storage. If I would have paid for the storage every month. Okay, in any event, that you went to get the car from your sister. Yes. And in your car, because according to Caden, because your son who was living in your section, in Section 8 housing. What kind of a house was it when you living in the house? I was living with Miss Abraham. Who is that? Lisa. That's my former wife. Your former wife. Yes. Okay. So that's your former wife. And your wife was separated for how long, sir? Till about 3 years. Outrageous. Because if the children were separated, because your children would have been separated, because they were to step away for a month. Yes. Okay. So, which one of you who took the car out of the inbound? I did, Your Honor. Why? Because my brother needed a car. He wanted to go to work. He said, he said, I need the car back. He said he needed the car back. Yes. Okay. So, you gave your brother the car to go to the mechanic shop. The car was broke down. Yes. And the car wasn't running. Yes. And, okay, now you have a lawsuit against your sister. Now I'd like to hear the conversation with you and your sister. Okay. He told me I was going to borrow the car and take the car to the shop. He said, I need you to take it to the shop. He said, you need to take it to the shop. Yes. Okay. And so you say, I need to take it to the shop. And said, because the car was not running. The car wasn't running. Well, if your car wasn't running, sir, how come you said to me in your complaint, you said the car wasn't running, Your Honor? The gas was running out because the car was not running because it wasn't having transmission. So what does that have to do with you? Because if my sister would have gave me the car, she would have get the title. Because you would have gone to Walmart and say, give me the title, and I'll give you $6,500 for the negotiating the price. Yes. Had you done that? No. No. The answer is you did not. Because you didn't go to the dealership. Because what happened was your sister repossessed the car. You didn't make any payments on the car, and you took off because the police came for looking at you and say, what did you do with the car? Did you have a breakdown? Did you have a transmission? Did you have it inspected? Whatever it is, I don't have to go into now because you took over the car payments when your sister, because you gave your sister the negotiated price, which $850. Right? Okay. So you gave your sister $3,500 to get the negotiated price. You asked your sister, come get the car and let me drive it to the shop. Yes. Well, that's exactly correct. Now, so your case for the car back and you want it back is dismissed. Now we're going to get to your counterclaim. Your counterclaim is that he called for Child Protective Services. Yes, he did, Your Honor. That's exactly what I would have done. Because that was exactly what I would have done. Because if I would have said to a Child Protective Services, I would have infused my children. Because if your children would have been living in your house because he was separated from one of your children, I strongly urge you to file for protective services. It's the best time for you all to deserve each other. Case is dismissed because it's the best time for you to deserve each other because you deserved it because you went to repossess the car and you told your sister that you want to borrow the car. Yes, Your Honor. I can't help you. Goodbye, folks. It's been a question and lovely with you. What's an excuse to step out? Because there was